We see an old, neglected park called Viridian Park. The show cracked fountains, rusted swings, and overgrown weeds. I am Liam, 35-year-old, the young architect. Every city has a heartbeat, but in ours, it was fading. Our parks were becoming concrete wastelands, and our souls were getting lost in the rush. I wanted to build a space where the city could breathe again. We are introduced to Liam in his small, cluttered apartment. His desk is covered with blueprints and clay models. He's not just an architect, he's an artist. His passion is evident in every sketch. He sees the city not as steel and glass, but as a living canvas. One evening, while walking through the desolate Viridian Park, he spots an old man with a worn-out violin playing a beautiful but unheard melody to the empty benches. This image sparks an idea. He decides to create a space for everyone, a place where art and life could flourish. He calls his project the city's silent symphony. Liam works tirelessly, day and night, for months. He doesn't just design the park, he imagines the lives that will fill it. His blueprint is a marvel of urban planning. It includes a multi-level community garden with a vertical farm, an amphitheater for performances, a children's play area with eco-friendly structures, and a solar-powered water fountain. He adds a special sound garden with wind chimes and natural resonating structures that would create soft music from the breeze. His hard work pays off when he gets a meeting with the city's most powerful real estate tycoon, Mr. Sterling. Sterling's office is a monument to well-thought cold marble and sharp edges. Sterling, a man who sees every square foot as a potential profit, is intrigued. He praises Liam's vision and fresh perspective. He tells Liam, "This isn't just a park, son. This is a brand. I'll make you the biggest name in this city." Liam, naive and full of hope, hands over all his design files, signing a contract that he doesn't read carefully enough. Weeks pass, and Liam waits for Sterling's call. He's filled with excitement. But one morning, his phone lights up with a news alert. A headline reads, "Sterling Corp. unveils plan for Sterling Tower on Viridian Park site." Liam's blood runs cold. He clicks on the link and sees his own designs, but twisted and corrupted. The community garden is now a sterile rooftop patio for a luxury restaurant. The amphitheater is a private corporate meeting space. The title, The City's Silent Symphony, has been replaced with the arrogant name Sterling Tower. Liam's dream, his months of hard work, has been stolen and reshaped into a symbol of corporate greed. The screen shows Liam in a state of despair. He sits in his apartment, surrounded by crumpled papers and broken models. He feels betrayed and helpless. He tries to contact news outlets and lawyers, but no one is willing to take on Sterling Corp. He realizes that money and power can bury the truth. He watches as bulldozers tear down the old parks, trees, and buildings. His hopes being crushed along with them, Liam finds a new resolve. He understands he can't beat Sterling at his own game. He has to play a different one, a game of ideas. He decides to turn his despair into a masterpiece. For the next few weeks, he pours his heart and soul into creating something new, a digital animation of his original park design. He uses every skill he has, adding intricate details, vibrant colors, and beautiful music to bring his vision to life. He doesn't just show what was planned, he makes you feel it. He shows digital renderings of children laughing on the swings, people planting vegetables, and musicians playing under the stars. He titles the video, The Unbuilt Symphony. Liam posts the video online with a simple caption. This is the story of a park that was promised, a symphony that was silenced. This is what we could have had. The video's powerful, emotional message resonates instantly. It doesn't contain a single angry word. It just presents a beautiful contrast between what could have been and what is being built. Within hours, local community groups and social media influencers share it. News outlets pick up on the story. One popular local reporter does a live broadcast from the construction site, playing Liam's video on a giant screen behind him, highlighting the stark difference between the cold steel structure and Liam's warm vision. The video goes viral with the hashtag #OurPark. sparking a citywide conversation. The public's outrage becomes a powerful force. Protests erupt at the construction site, with people holding up signs that say "Tear down the Tower of Lies" and "Give us our symphony." The movement gains national attention. Sterling's corporate image is tarnished. Investors who are concerned about the negative publicity begin to pull their funding. His business deals fall apart. Sterling, facing financial ruin and public humiliation, is forced to take action. He contacts Liam, not with an offer of money, but with a desperate plea. Liam meets Sterling again, this time on his own terms. Sterling offers to give him a high-paying job to make it all go away. But Liam refuses. He looks Sterling in the eye and says, "My symphony was never for sale. You can't buy an idea, you can only bring it to life." Liam gives him his final demand. The Sterling Tower must be demolished, and his original park must be built in its place, with no changes. Sterling, defeated, agrees. The video shows the monumental, emotional sight of the half-built Sterling Tower being torn down, piece by piece, as the city watches. The final minutes of the video show the glorious opening day of the city's silent symphony. The park is filled with people, exactly as Liam had envisioned. We see the old violinist playing on the amphitheater stage, the children running on the green lawns, and neighbors laughing as they plant saplings in the community garden. The wind chimes in the sound garden sing a soft, harmonious melody. The camera focuses on Liam, standing in the middle of the vibrant park, a quiet smile on his face. He didn't just get revenge, he reclaimed his dream and gave his city a new heartbeat. The video ends with a final shot of the park sign as the music swells. The symphony, once silent, is now heard by all. The opening of the city's silent symphony wasn't just a happy ending, it was a beginning. Liam's life changed completely. He was no longer the struggling architect from the small apartment. He became a celebrity, a symbol of hope and creative resistance. Job offers poured in from major firms, but they all wanted him to design corporate headquarters and luxury condos. Liam turned them all down. He had seen what greed could do, and he was determined to use his talent for a different purpose. Just as Liam was considering his next move, a new, more subtle threat emerged. A developer named Ms. Thorne, a woman known for her quiet efficiency and ruthless business tactics, had started a new project. She wasn't building a single, arrogant tower. Instead, her company was discreetly buying up dozens of small, forgotten, public squares and neighborhood parks all across the city. Her plan was to replace them with identical, sterile apartment complexes. Her strategy was to avoid any public outcry by working quickly and under the radar, never making the same mistake. Sterling did. She was a silent predator, and she was succeeding. Liam realized a viral video wouldn't be enough this time. He couldn't fight her in a battle of public opinion alone. He needed a new strategy. He reached out to the people who had supported him. During the #OurPark movement, the artists, the musicians, the community gardeners, and the social media influencers, they formed a new collective, the Silent Symphony Foundation. Their mission was to protect every last green space in the city. Instead of protests, they organized pop-up events in the threatened parks. They held open-air art classes in one square, a community potluck in another, and a local music festival in a third. Their goal was to make these spaces so alive, so vital, that no one would dare tear them down. They used creativity to show the irreplaceable value of these spaces, turning abandoned lots into vibrant hubs of community activity. The artists created beautiful digital renderings of what each small park could become, sharing them with the #OurSymphony. Ms. Thorne watched, frustrated, as her quiet plans were disrupted by a grassroots movement she couldn't control. She couldn't build on land that was constantly in use, full of people singing, painting, and laughing. Her attempts to buy the land were met with a unified front of community resistance. The city, having learned its lesson from the Sterling debacle, sided with the people. Ms. Thorne was eventually forced to sell the properties she had acquired, realizing that some things, community, art, and nature, were more valuable than any building she could ever construct. The story ends with Liam, now the head of the thriving Silent Symphony Foundation. He is no longer just an architect. He's a community builder, a public advocate, a guardian of the city's soul. He walks through the streets, not just looking at buildings, but at the smiles of the people, the sound of music, and the green of the trees. He had not only gotten revenge, but had built a lasting legacy, proving that his initial victory was not the end, but the first note in a beautiful, unending symphony. Liam's victories had made him a hero to the public, but they also made him a target. His biggest challenge yet came not from a greedy developer, but from the city's political establishment. Senator Thomas Maxwell, a man with his eyes on the governor's office, announced a new, ambitious plan for a city of the future. His project, the Solara Nexus, was a sterile high-tech and data-driven vision that promised automated traffic, smart grids, and robotic services. It was a vision of efficiency and profit, designed to attract global corporations. The project required the demolition of multiple historic neighborhoods and every last public green space in the downtown area. Maxwell positioned Liam's Silent Symphony philosophy as a charming, but ultimately naive, obstacle to progress. In a televised speech, he mocked Liam's community gardens and wind chimes, calling them relics of the past. While some are content to play in the dirt, he sneered, "We are building a city of light and logic, a city for a future that doesn't wait for artists." Liam knew that this fight was different. It wasn't just about protecting a single park or a few squares. It was a battle for the very soul of the city. He couldn't just create a powerful video. This time, he had to show the public what they would be giving up, in a way that data and logic couldn't explain. Liam and his foundation launched their most ambitious project yet. The city's heartbeat. Using cutting-edge technology, they created a fully immersive, virtual reality experience. People could step into a virtual model of the city under Senator Maxwell's plan. It was clean and efficient, but cold and grey. The streets were silent, and the buildings were soulless. Then, with a simple touch, they could switch to Liam's vision. The virtual city would transform, becoming a vibrant, colourful place filled with the sounds of street musicians and the laughter of children. They could see a digital representation of the Viridian Park and other community projects, complete with tiny animated people enjoying them. The experience ended with a simple question on a blank screen. Which city would you rather live in? They set up these VR stations in libraries, community centers, and even in a large dome tent in a public square. The public response was overwhelming. People who had been convinced by Maxwell's promises of progress were now confronted with the emotional reality of his vision. They saw a future without human connection, without art, and without the small, unplanned moments that make a city alive. The tide of public opinion turned against Senator Maxwell. His slick, data-driven campaign couldn't compete with the emotional truth of Liam's creation. He was forced to publicly withdraw his support for the Solara Nexus project, and his political ambitions were effectively silenced. Liam's victory was not a triumph over an individual, but over an entire way of thinking. His work had evolved from a simple act of revenge into a fundamental principle of urban planning. He continued to lead the Silent Symphony Foundation, not as a force against development, but as a partner in it, ensuring that every new building and every new space was a collaboration between the city's past, its present, and its heart. He had not only gotten his revenge and built a legacy, but he had become the city's conscience. Just when the city thought it had found its balance, a new, more abstract threat emerged. A global tech giant, Omnicorp, announced its plan to build the Metacity. This wasn't a physical structure, but a fully immersive, digital world. It promised a perfect life, no traffic, no pollution, no crime, and a completely customizable reality. The CEO, a charismatic but distant figure named Elias Vance, marketed it as the next step in human evolution. A place to escape the messy imperfections of the real world. Liam knew this was his greatest challenge yet. He couldn't fight a virtual city with real-world protests. The conflict was no longer about land, It was about the very nature of human existence. The Silent Symphony Foundation's mission had always been to protect tangible spaces, but now they had to defend tangible experiences. Liam and his team launched their new initiative, the Real Life Project. They created a campaign that was the opposite of Vance's sleek, digital world. It was messy, sensory, and deeply human. They organized citywide sensory scavenger hunts, inviting people to follow a series of clues that led them to unique, real-world experiences. One clue led to a community garden, where people were challenged to taste a freshly picked tomato. Another led to a riverbank, where they had to dip their hands in the cold water and listen to the sounds of nature. They had to sketch a real street, artist's work, smell the bread baking at a local bakery, and share a story with a complete stranger in a public square. The project went viral, not with a single video, but through millions of shared photos and stories of personal discovery. People posted pictures of their dirty hands from planting seeds, their smiles after talking to a stranger, and their drawings of the urban landscape. The hashtag #MyRealLife became a worldwide phenomenon. The climax came during a debate between Liam and Elias Vance. Vance presented his vision with crisp, perfect graphics. Liam countered with a simple question. What does it feel like to plant a seed? To feel the dirt on your hands and watch a life grow? Vance, who had never touched dirt in his life, faltered. He couldn't answer the question with any real emotion. At the end of the debate, Liam pulled a small, potted sapling from behind his podium. He held it up and said, "This is the truth. This is our city's heartbeat. It's not a pixelated dream on a screen. It's real, it's alive." The public saw the stark difference between the two men, the one who talked about progress and the one who nurtured life. The tide of public opinion turned. The people had been reminded of the irreplaceable value of tangible experiences. Omni Project lost its momentum as people chose to invest in the world they could touch, smell, and feel. Liam's legacy had come full circle. He had started by saving a park, and he had ended by saving the soul of the city itself, proving that the most profound reality is not one you can program, but one you have to live. Liam's victories against external enemies had built a movement, but they also created a new kind of challenge, a divide within his own foundation. The Silent Symphony had become a symbol of a cause, and with that came a new generation of activists who had not experienced the dirt and sweat of the early days. They were passionate, but they were digital natives who saw Liam's methods as inefficient and slow. At a board meeting, a young and brilliant strategist named Anya, who had joined after the viral #MyRealLife campaign, presented a new plan. She proposed partnering with major corporations and using their resources to scale the movement. Her proposal included branded Silent Symphony merchandise, corporate-sponsored pop-up parks, and an app that would gamify community service, rewarding users with digital badges and points. "We have the momentum," she argued, "but to truly impact the world, we have to play by its rules. We need to turn our passion into a platform." Liam was immediately against it. He saw it as a sellout. The authenticity of the Silent Symphony was its uncommercial nature. He feared that once they accepted corporate money, their message would be sanitized, their purpose diluted, and their legacy would become just another brand. He looked at the faces around the table. Some nodded along with Anya, seeing the opportunity for expansion and funding, while others, the old guard, saw the same corporate greed they had fought so hard against. The conflict wasn't a battle of good versus evil. It was a clash of two different philosophies. Anya believed that a powerful message, even if commercialized, could reach more people. Liam believed that the integrity of the message was paramount. Even if it remained small and local, the debate became a microcosm of the very struggle they were founded to fight. The heart of the city against the efficiency of the machine. Liam knew he had to act. He didn't fire Anya or shut down the debate. Instead, he organized a new, impromptu project. He called it The First Note. He gathered a small group of the Foundation's core members, the old violinist, a community gardener, and a local artisan. They went to a small rundown alleyway that was about to be sold. With no corporate funding and no digital campaign, they simply started to clean it. They planted a few small flowers in cracks in the pavement, painted a simple mural on a wall, and put out a few benches they had salvaged. At first, nothing happened. But then, a few neighbors saw them and started to help. A small coffee shop owner brought them drinks. A musician from an apartment above brought down his guitar and started to play. Within a few days, the alley became a quiet, beautiful space. There were no hashtags, no press releases, and no viral videos. It was just a place that was built with the simple act of people coming together. When the board members, including Anya, saw what had happened, they understood. Liam had not given a speech. He had given a demonstration. He proved that the power of the silent symphony was not in its brand or its scalability, but in the small, human moments it created. The feeling of dirt on your hands, the sound of an unheard song, and the warmth of a shared moment. That was their true product. Anya, humbled, realized that they didn't need to scale the foundation. They needed to spread the idea, one small alleyway at a time. The board unanimously voted against the corporate partnership. The story concludes with Liam continuing his work, no longer a celebrity, but a quiet force for good. He is a testament to the fact that the most meaningful battles are not fought on screens or in boardrooms, but on the streets, one small act of creation and community at a time. He had finally found true victory not over an opponent, but over the temptation to lose sight of what truly matters. If this story of art, courage, and community resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more inspiring stories, and tell us in the comments, what does your city's silent symphony sound like?